That lady back on the stuff, she sound like she in love with him. Her kid can't even take their kids.
At what point do we start believing that Jay-Z is guilty of all the crimes they say he is? Like, this man has literally been accused at 100 crimes.
These Epstein-like characters have existed throughout history. Everybody is a supplier. Epstein, Weinstein.
In your thoughts on Donald Trump and what it means for what it means for mass incarceration?
You know what? This is a labor of love for Jay, and as a result.
So Jay-Z just dissed Nicki Minaj and her husband, Kenneth Petty. And he said some slick stuff about Nicki being MAGA and Kenneth not being able to pick up his own kid. And look, a lot of people are going to have opinions on this. I'm definitely not here to defend Kenneth, but we need to talk about the hypocrisy of it all. And this is where Katt Williams comes in. When the whole industry turned on Nicki, Katt said this old man better not be calling the kettle black, because even if Jay-Z's message about Nicki's husband is not technically wrong, he's definitely the wrong person to deliver the message. Because how are you going to diss someone for not being able to pick up their kid when you were literally named in those DOJ files? And how are you shading Nicki for being MAGA when just months ago, you and your wife were dining with Trump's daughter and son-in-law, and then the president of your company literally got a pardon from Trump, but you'll never hear Jay-Z rap about that. What he'll do is send Beyonce to act like they're endorsing Democrats while he's doing business with Republicans behind closed doors. So like Katt said, it's the hypocrisy of it all. So this all went down at the Roots picnic in Philadelphia on May 30th. Jay-Z was headlining, and it was his first big solo show in over 7 years. So at one point, he decided to go a cappella for part of his set. And that's when he starts throwing shots at Nicki and her husband. And the bar that got everybody talking was this. That lady back on that stuff, she sounds like she's in love with them. Her Ken can't even pick they kid. Enough of them.
That lady back on the stuff, she sound like she in love with him. Her kid can't even take their kids.
So right away, everybody knew who he was talking about. That lady is Nicki. Her Ken is Kenneth Petty. And the line about not being able to pick up the kid is a direct shot at Kenneth's legal situation. For those who don't know, Kenneth is a registered offender from a 1995 conviction. He's been on probation for years, which comes with travel restrictions and all kinds of rules. But then Jay-Z kept going. He said, "A rapper can't be my op. I got MAGA Republicans. Those shots came from the very top of the government. Good luck with them."
A rapper can't be my eye. I got MAGA Republicans. Those shots came from the very top of the government. Good luck with them. I'm governed by God.
So obviously this part is about Nicki getting cozy with Trump, and Jay-Z is basically saying she picked the wrong side. Now, on the surface, none of this is technically false. Kenneth Petty does have that conviction, and Nicki did align herself with Trump. But here's the thing, Jay-Z is just as guilty. Maybe not literally of the same exact crimes, but who knows? Maybe something even worse. Because how many allegations have been made against this man? For decades. Jay-Z kept the company of people like Diddy and Harvey Weinstein, and then his name literally pops up in the Island files. So for him to try to play moral superiority over Nicki, yeah, that's not gonna work. But before we get into Jay-Z's dirty laundry, let me explain why Katt Williams is even in this conversation. Because a lot of people might be thinking, what does Katt have to do with Nicki and Jay's beef? In 2024, Nicki even invited Katt to join her tour. And while Katt later said the offer was just a joke, he didn't have any bad words about Nicki.
Can y'all hit up Katt Williams and ask him what would be his price to be a part of the Pink Friday 2?
Nicki Minaj said she wanted me on her tour, and she told so many people, a million people hit my phone at the same time. It scared me and Jesus. He shut all of AT&T down to my phone to pull off on the charger. That's for the world.
But here's the bigger thing. Katt has been warning us about Hollywood devils for years. Way before Me Too. Way before anybody was listening.
They canceled me for talking about Harvey Weinstein before the thing came out, but he offered to suck my in front of all my people at my agency. What am I supposed to do?
Katt tried to warn people about Weinstein, but no one listened. They called him crazy, they blacklisted him, they tried to pin cases on him. Meanwhile, what was Jay-Z doing during that time? He was literally best friends with Weinstein. So according to those DOJ files on Jeffrey E., Jay-Z's name came up in an anonymous tip to the FBI made by a woman who claimed that back in 1996, she woke up in Epstein's mansion with Weinstein and Jay-Z in the room. And whether that's true or not, we know for a fact that Jay-Z and Weinstein stayed close posts for years after that alleged incident. There's this clip that recently surfaced showing Weinstein acting like Jay-Z's handler and stepping in to shut down an interview after a reporter asked Jay about Trump.
In your thoughts on Donald Trump and what it means for mass incarceration.
You know what? This is a labor of love for Jay, and as a result, he's my friend. We're here to talk about that and nothing else.
Well, then can I ask you about mass incarceration? And do you think the movement is...
But that's not all. Weinstein also told The Hollywood Reporter that he had known Jay on a personal level for many years. And then there's also footage of Jay-Z and Weinstein at the same industry party in 1998. And that's just 2 years after that alleged incident mentioned in the Jeffrey files. Now fast forward to 2016, and Jay-Z signed a film and TV first look deal with the Weinstein Company. And this was just months before Weinstein's crimes were exposed. As for Weinstein's connection to Jeffrey, that part is well documented. They weren't just friends either. They had close business ties, and they even founded this investment group together that tried to buy New York Magazine back in 2003. So during the same time period that Weinstein was friends with Jay-Z, following him around on the red carpet, acting like his publicist, and doing business with him, he was also working closely with Jeffrey. And that's why a lot of people were not surprised when Jay's name popped up in those files. I'm not saying this proves he's guilty of any crimes, but it shows he was part of that same circle. In 2020, the Daily Beast reported that Weinstein and Epstein felt a kinship because of their evil ways. So then, where does Jay-Z fit into this dynamic? Jay was friends with R. Kelly, then Diddy, then Weinstein, and yet we're supposed to believe he had no idea what these men were doing. And like Katt Williams said in a recent interview, these men were just suppliers. If you were around them, it's really hard to believe you didn't know what was happening, because this isn't new. This has been happening in the industry since day one. So to think that a billionaire and an industry veteran like Jay-Z would be oblivious to all of it, I'm sorry, but that's just not realistic.
These Epstein-like characters have existed throughout history. Everybody is a supplier. Epstein, Weinstein, like these guys knew what these extremists liked and provided it. To have $1 billion and not create a fantasy island type environment has not existed throughout history.
Katt has repeatedly called out the hypocrisy of people like Jay. He's talked about how the same people who run around calling out others are often the worst offenders themselves. And the reason they don't get in trouble with the law is because they're literally informants.
Even like in the rap world, like all of the rappers that you know that never been to jail, never gotten any trouble with the law, but they talk as if their life is opposite of that. Like, those are federal informants, like, you know?
You think they're really out there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's part of the job, is to acquire those. It's like saying, you know, if you're playing chess, do you have any pawns? You have to.
So for Jay-Z to now stand on stage and shame Nicki Minaj about her husband's past, but he's been moving shoulder to shoulder with convicted offenders for 30 years? How are we supposed to take anything Jay-Z says seriously at this point? And the craziest part? Katt already told us this would happen. He said the people at the top protect each other until they don't. And then they throw somebody else under the bus to keep the heat off themselves. And that's exactly what Jay-Z is doing right now.
I understand what it's worth doing when the industry is canceling one black guy. I know what happens when they are going to elevate another. And I know what happens when they don't care about either.
So here's where I land on all of this. You can dislike Nicki and her husband. You can disagree with her politics. And yes, Jay-Z is factually right about Kenneth Petty. But being factually right doesn't mean you should be the one talking. And Jay-Z is absolutely not the one to deliver this message. And look, I get that Nicki has been coming for Jay for years, and he felt like he had to clap back. But he should have brought something else about her, not Nicki being MAGA and her husband being an offender. That's just inviting people to point out the hypocrisy. It would be like Harvey Weinstein lecturing Diddy about respecting women. Even if the words are correct, the messenger is so compromised that the whole thing falls apart. And that's the real issue here. Jay-Z isn't standing up for civil rights or Kenneth Petty's victim. He's not protecting anybody. He's deflecting. He saw his name popping up in those DOJ documents. He saw people starting to dig through his past and ask questions about his friendships with Diddy and Weinstein. And he decided to point a finger at Nicki to take the spotlight off himself. As for Katt Williams, all I'm gonna say is that there isn't a single photo of Katt and Jay-Z together. Go ahead and look it up. Not one photo in over 20 years. Think about that. Katt has been in the industry forever, and somehow he never ended up in a picture with Jay-Z. That's not an accident. Katt kept his distance on purpose. Katt said it himself. He's been collecting information and receipts on the industry for years. So if he stayed away from Jay-Z, it's because he saw something that he didn't want to be associated with. And now it's all starting to make a whole lot of sense. But let me hear your takes on this. Is Jay-Z a hypocrite for dissing Nicki and her husband? Is he just trying to distract everyone from his own allegations? Drop your comments below and stay tuned for the next video.